Chosen one, God did not whisper your name today. He roared it. He declared it across every dimension and every realm. And the sound did not stop at the walls of heaven. It came all the way here, all the way to you. Things are not normal right now. If you could hear what heaven sounded like at that moment, you would understand. Know something, if you're here right now, this message wasn't found. You got this message. Everything that tried to keep you from hearing what the Father has been trying to say for months has been fighting its way through. Every notification, interruption, distraction, and emergency. And today there was no stopping it. Today the signal got through all the things that were in its way. People have called you a chosen one before. You've heard it. You've thought about it. It's been with you like a word that wasn't meant for you, but kept following you home. Anyway, today is different though. You are not just a chosen one today. These days, you are the strongest one who was chosen. That's not a phrase to get you going. That is a real prophecy. It's in the past tense, already written, already closed. The pain you went through to get here was not a deviation from the prophecy. It was the end of the world being written in real time. The story is in your scars. That night when you couldn't sleep, that door that shut in your face. That time you held yourself together. When you were about to fall apart, it would have been so much easier. That wasn't getting weaker. That's how the prophecy took shape. If your spirit is talking to you right now, like if something moved in your chest, type the words. The comments below don't have anyone stronger than me. Place those words outside of yourself today. Get this message and read it all the way through because what comes next doesn't end in one sitting. And if your body told you something important was going to happen before you even hit play, this is the time to say yes. Do something easy right now. Put your hand on your chest. Forget about it. Just put it there. You can feel the beat in your fingers. That's not just his heart beating. There's proof there. That's your body confirming what your spirit already knows about you. We'll talk about what that proves. Again, don't forget this moment. The Holy Spirit has been trying to get in touch with you, not for days, but for weeks or months. At times, it almost made it through when that song came on at the wrong time. It felt like it was talking straight to you, a part of a book that you read twice. A talk that looked like it was about something normal but was really about everything. Today all the walls came down. He showed me 7 things that the strongest chosen one does. There are 7 marks that only show up on people who were built to carry something most people can't. A lot of people have 2 or 3 of these signs on them, some carry 5. If you have all 7 though, you are part of a group that is so uncommon that this combination has only been seen in less than 10,000 lifetimes. The 5th sign is the one that breaks most warriors. People who are very strong have given up their calling because of this sign. Someone was chosen for more, but this sign made them decide to settle for much less. Let me tell you what that sign means. It will help you understand something about your life that you have been trying to figure out for a long time. Take a moment to think about where you are now, not the chair or the room. Think about what you have on your back. Before this message, before you sat down, before whatever part of you decided today was the day to stop and listen, think about the person you were. That part of you was worn out. Not the kind of tired that a good night's sleep can fix. The kind that lives in bones. Someone in a certain group will find their way to this message. That isn't the person who knows everything. Not the person who takes it easy and enjoys clear skies. This finds the person who has thought about the question for a long time. What does it feel like to hold something that no one else in the room does? This person has prayed more times in the dark than they have been praised in the light. That person is still here listening and trying to figure out why the path they were given hasn't been anything like what they were told it would be. That person is the most powerful chosen one. And all of the signs I'm about to talk about are for you. One of the first signs that you are the strongest chosen one is that you may be tired. But that's not normal. It lives in the bones and tissues below the surface. A weight that stays with you even after a full night's sleep. When you wake up, the weight is already there, as familiar as your own name. When most people see this, they think something is wrong with them. They say it's because of their diet, their schedule, or the stress of being an adult. In reality, though, something else is going on. Spiritual weight is being processed by your body. The stronger the calling, the heavier the weight gets before it breaks open into something new. This doesn't mean you're weak. This is the body of someone who was made to carry things most people can't. The second sign is the emotional wave that comes out of nowhere and for no reason. You are doing something normal when all of a sudden something changes. It wasn't a thought or memory that made it happen. It was just a tide that went through you, bringing with it sadness, peace, grief, and something that almost feels like joy. And then it went away. It left behind a silence that you are left to stand in. This is not an unstable state. No, this is not a bug. Because of this, your emotional body is making room. People who are chosen to be strong must be broken open wide before they can let what is meant to flow through them. In that set of waves is not a breakdown. They are the opening of a package that was never meant to be closed. You feel restless and creative, like something is waiting to be let out, but you can't put your finger on it. This is the third sign. You want to start something, make something, or build something. But every time you sit down to do it, the urge goes away, leaving you with a space that feels fuller than anything you could put in it. This is not a loss of ideas. This is an alert. For the strongest chosen ones, jobs have not yet been named by the people around them. The restlessness comes from having to do work that is pushing against the walls of a container without being told what it is building yet. Not being able to settle down is not the issue. It's proof that someone put something inside you that hasn't found its way out yet. The fourth sign is all about the time. When you think of someone, their name comes up on your phone. In your own home, it's quiet, but then you hear someone across the room repeat what you said. It takes you 24 hours for 3 different things to confirm what you decided when you were alone with your thoughts. People don't call these patterns by their names in everyday life, but where you live, they do. This is how your frequency is being set. The strongest chosen ones work at a spiritual level that starts to blur the line between what they want and what they actually do for you. What seems like a coincidence to everyone else is your life coming together to follow your calling. You are getting closer to the threshold, not farther away, which is why the synchronicities are getting stronger. I told you about the fifth sign, which is what breaks most warriors. It's here. It was the time when you thought you were most qualified, ready, and sure that you were finally moving towards something real. But then it all fell apart. This was a big setback that made you question whether you would ever be able to get what you were trying to achieve. This makes most people want to leave. They hurt their eyesight. They get used to living a life that is similar to the one that hurt them. They accept less than what they were promised and think that is smart. A stronger one, though, does something different. The strongest chosen person stays in the room after the collapse. Not because they know what to do, but because they can't leave. They wouldn't leave and couldn't put down the calling, even though it would have been so much easier to do so. Even though everyone else around you knew it made sense for you to. Even when it looked like the silence proved every doubt. That is sign number 5. And most people who are chosen never see it for what it is proof. It looks like being weak. That showed how strong you were. And finally, the 6th sign is that your spiritual life has been quiet lately. The prayers that seem to be going up and up and up. The worship that sounds like words that are going in a direction you can't follow. You haven't stopped, but you thought about whether anyone forgot about you. That lack of noise is not absence. This is the exact state that the strongest chosen ones are put in before a frequency shift that changes how they see and hear everything. You have the 7th sign in your hand right now. The fact that you didn't stop this message. Something inside you knew something was wrong before anyone could explain it. That recognition wasn't a fluke. It was your spirit letting you know what it already knew. What it knew before you could explain it, what it will understand a long time from now. You are the most powerful of the chosen ones, and the prophecy was always true. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us lift up the burdens of others and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give and it will be given to you is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today. Join our community and see what God brings back into your life. You may have been comparing your progress to people who were never called to do what you were called to do in your strength to. Deadlines that were made for different. Your calling may have been judged by the wrong standard. Tasks. It was never fair to compare them because the fastest moving ones are not the strongest ones. They are the ones who made it through what was meant to kill them. You weren't doing something wrong because of what you went through. It was how something you haven't seen all the way through was chosen. The hardest times don't mean you can't do your calling. These things are the proof. They're the reason people trust you with what's coming. The promise is still true. Even though there is a wilderness, getting ready for the promised thing is what the wilderness is all about. But being known is just the start. Just because you know you have these 7 signs doesn't mean you know what they mean, what caused them, or what they point to. Most people never hear this, but there is something deeper going on here. There is a reason why the strongest chosen ones feel and think the way they do. and the world has been doing everything it can to keep them from finding out what's going on inside. That's where this message will go next. And when it does, the signs will make a different kind of sense. Not just a spiritual sense, but also a scientific sense, a sense that is measurable, documented, and provable. This sense will shut down all the ways that doubt has been trying to get into your mind. It's the kind of fire that destroys everything it touches, including the shape you had made for yourself, that identity you had built around what other people needed you to be, and the version of you. One version of your story starts with a real fire, not a fire in a metaphorical sense, that had learned to stay alive. By making yourself smaller, more acceptable, and less dangerous to those around you. The fire wasn't an accident. The phoenix doesn't rise because the fire wasn't very hot. The phoenix rises because there was no more fire. And the strongest ones who were chosen have been through a fire that most people will never see. It's not because they were unlucky. They were chosen because only a fire that destroys everything can show what can't be destroyed inside. What did that fire burn? The identity you built on needing to be liked in order to feel safe in a room. The beliefs you were born with without choosing them. The ones that kept you small, predictable, and easy to control. The habit of explaining yourself to people who would never understand no matter what you said. The time you didn't speak because you knew your voice was too loud for the room. That had to all go. It wasn't bad because it wasn't you. Even the strongest chosen one can't be built on someone else's identity. They can't bring their real job with them in a container that was made to hold someone else. What felt like loss turned out to be freedom. The most basic parts of who you were being built during what felt like destruction. The oldest holy books talk about a person who knew this from the inside out. David didn't become king all in one afternoon. For years he lived alone in the woods, and watched the crown be won by someone whose time was coming to an end while his own had not yet begun. During those years nothing in his outside life fit with the calling God had given him. But somewhere hidden, something was being built that the palace could never have made. Patience that could not be made by being successful. He learned to depend on something outside of himself which comfort would never have taught him. The power to hold on to a promise that hasn't come true yet without giving up hope. He would always have the throne, but the formation wasn't a waste of time. The formation was the training that let him wear what had always been his. This is true for the strongest chosen ones. The time between calling and getting confirmation is not failure. It is time that is safe. In the gap, you build the kind of character that will help you stand tall when everyone else has already done so. Real work can't be done by something that grows quickly without roots. The amount of depth you were given always matched the weight of what was coming. What were you getting ready for during the tough times? You were made so that you could be misunderstood without losing who you are. Being able to wait without getting angry. Knowing that a promise is real even though it hasn't come true yet, and being able to hold on to it. These aren't soft traits in the whole range of human experience. These are the rarest and most powerful traits. People whose names will be remembered long after their bodies have died have one thing in common. They are legends. All of them were made in a place that looked like it would fail as proof that they were not the one. Each of them had a season that their enemies used. And each and every one of them was you were able to receive what was coming because of the formation season. It didn't make you someone who needed approval to feel worthy. This is the version that has been improved by fire. checked by silence, and proven true by the fact that you are still here. That part of you is ready for something that the formation has been building up to the whole time. Just now you felt something. Recognition, resonance, and the unique feeling of seeing your own story reflected back to you with such accuracy. This accuracy has a frequency that can be measured. Furthermore, there is a path made just for people with this kind of recognition. A small group of neuroscientists in New York, led by a doctor, have been studying something for 20 years that most medical schools don't teach and most labs don't. Before another second goes by, I want to name something. Pay for. Researchers discovered that the smartest people in history, those who seem to be so smart that normal talent can't explain it, were doing something that most adults no longer do. And it's not biological that most people stop. It's not old age. That's how the world treats them. The genius switch is what this team found. It's an 8-minute audio sequence that connects your left and right hemispheres of the brain the way they were when you were a child. When your mind was working at full speed before the world started dimming, what was put inside you? If what I just wrote makes you feel drawn, the path is in that writing and the comment below it that has been pinned. Before this message ends, I will tell you more. 3 things start to change quickly and rudely for people who are entering the season that comes after a formation like the one you have been in. They move in the same way that things move when an underground current finally comes to the surface. Before you fully understand what's going on, you'll feel it. The first area is family and friends. This season, people who seemed like they would always be there will start to let go. This is going to hurt. It will make you wonder if you push them away, if you were too much, or if the growing space is your fault. I want to tell you the truth. Some of what's being let go of was never meant to stay because it was made for the ending version of you and not the beginning version. Don't try to hold on to what is letting go. Do not put back what is being taken away. Something that the strongest chosen ones have been waiting for the longest will come in the space that opens. Folks who can talk to you in your own language without a translator. People who don't need you to be smaller to be happy with you. There are people in this new chapter who were always meant to be there. The second change is about why things that have seemed cloudy, vague, and half-formed will start to become clearer. Not all at once, but more and more often. There will be clear impressions where there were only vague feelings before. A direction that seemed completely out of reach will get stronger. A task that seemed impossible will reveal the first step. It doesn't clear up all at once, but it does clear up enough. What you shouldn't do right now. Do not want to see the whole picture before you were ready to move. People who were chosen because they were strong have always been given enough light to move on. It's not reckless to act on incomplete information. For those who have been chosen, this is what it means to obey the thing that is being built through them. The third shift is provision. I need to be careful here because provision doesn't always come in the form you've been asking for. Provision comes first as capacity for many people in this season. Being able to see what was always there, but that you had missed before. A thought that could not have existed before the formation. A connection that couldn't have been seen before it was taken away. The financial and useful information comes next. But it comes after the opening of the faculty of perception. It comes after the mind is fully healed. So, the next part of this message is just as important as the parts that came before it. Take a deep breath in. You've been holding on to something in this message and letting it land. Right now, you don't need to rush toward anything. Don't plan anything. Just take a slow breath once. Things that have been said should be put where they belong. It's not just those who can take in revelation who are the strongest among the chosen. They also know how to let it rest inside them without grasping it, rushing to use it, or checking to see if it's changing them fast enough. The process is already going on. You don't have to take care of it. When the strongest chosen ones live their lives, there is a principle at work that the rest of the world doesn't understand. Scarcity is a principle that governs how the world works. There are limited resources, access, and favor to the chosen one. However, there is a system of assignment. What was assigned shows up. You can't take what is given to you. What was given doesn't run out. Most chosen ones make the mistake of relying on natural methods to get to their assigned provision for your calling to work. You need to be able to perceive things at a higher level than most adults were ever taught. It's not a mystery why most adults lost their way to that level. It was written down and studied, and the study that did that won the Nobel Prize. These 3 things are safe for you to trust this season. You can believe that the collapse you lived through was part of the plan and not proof that it failed. You can trust that this season's slow pace wasn't meant to punish you, but to help you get better. You can also trust that what's coming will fit the version of you that the formation made, not the version you had before the fire. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pin. Comment whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our co. It is a sign from God. Phi Community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself. Jesus says this is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Still, there's something in the room that stands there. There was something there every time you were about to make a breakthrough. It doesn't make itself known. It doesn't have a name, but you know what it is. As soon as the path became clear, you felt something move toward it and then something move against it. There is nothing wrong with that second movement. It's not proof that you're broken. It's what the strongest chosen ones face, and it has a name. The fear of being fully seen as who you were meant to be all along. Not the fear of failing, but the fear of doing well. Having the fear of becoming your strongest self, and then realizing that even the strongest chosen one can fall. The fear that there will be nothing left to blame if you do everything you can and it still doesn't work. That fear is smart, not weak. People who jumped right into their calling without any fear were not braver than you. They weren't as aware of how much they were carrying. Your fear is related to what you have to do. People who made things that would last broke cycles that had been going on for generations and changed the course of something bigger than themselves were all scared. Each and every one they moved anyway. In what way does this problem look when it's not in the way of your daily life? The great idea you had never seen to take off. It looks like you ruined the relationship just as it was getting real. It looks like the talk you wrote over and over in your head but never had. And it looks like you were shrinking in the rooms where you were the most qualified person. It looks like the dream you keep having about a better life for you is coming true. And the wall you run into every time you try to get there, that wall isn't the world telling you you're wrong. For someone who has been hurt before, That wall is their defense system working as best it can with old information. You were changed by the formation, still the safety system isn't up to speed. This is what the belief that makes this fear happen is. There will be nothing left to protect me if I fall after being fully seen for what I can do. But here is what it costs to believe that the prophecy is taken away from you. Everyone who was waiting pays for something that only you can bring. The person who was picked as the strongest isn't really strong because they don't have any fear. They're strong because they picked the prophecy over the safety. You have the right to feel this fear. You can give it a name. That thing that has been holding you back can now feel its full weight. Afterward, you are free to go through it anyway, not by getting rid of it. Not by making it look like it's not real because they knew that fear was never a wall. It was always a writing. The passage has been ready for you. One more thing you need to know before I show you what was made for times just like this one. Stronger chosen ones have felt the way they have for a reason. A reason that isn't just about fighting spirits. More than just personality and situation. It starts with the building blocks of the mind itself. The creative restlessness couldn't find its door for a reason. One reason why the perception felt like it only had some power. Because of this, the calling felt real, but I couldn't fully receive it. The 7 signs, the formation, and the obstacle will all make more sense once you understand this reason. I'll tell you what this message has been telling you in plain English. What makes the strongest chosen one feel that way? Because they were made for something that needs all of their skills to be used at once. Thinking, snorts, feeling, being spiritual, and being creative. They had more built into them. It takes longer for more to fully come back online and is tested and blocked more. What's been missed? The full use of the skills you had as a child. You were a creative genius when you were young before school. Social conditioning and the slow buildup of adult disappointment started to change you. Most adults have lost access to this level of genius. That's not a figure of speech that can be measured that is written down. That's what a Nobel Prize is all about. For whom is this meant? This is for the person who has been chosen and has always known that they were made for more. Who has felt the gap between what they think they were made to do and what their life shows now? And who is ready to understand that the gap doesn't mean they fail? There is a gap in the assignment. All 7 of those signs, the deep tiredness, the mood swings, the restlessness in your creative work, the odd timing, the refusal to put down the calling, the spiritual silence, and the recognition that came before you could say, and the chosen ones who close it are the strongest. It are there for you. You can read those signs because they are spiritual language. These things are signs that something was taken from you in your brain. You're not at the beginning. You'll be back. When you were 8 years old, before everyone else got their hands on it, it was fully functional. It has been waiting for a signal to come back online. Roger Sperry won the Nobel Prize in 1981 for showing that the left and right sides of the brain can work together, which is something that most people had never been. The math behind this is not new. A scientist named Dr. taught. The whole brain works when they do. Finally, it's possible to hear the whole calling. There's a woman from Manhattan whose family has thought for many generations that they were born poor. Her dad worked for a company he loved for 22 years and was fired the week before he was finally promoted. She knew this was the story of her family because she had seen happen to everyone she loved. Then something changed a few weeks after what Dr. Marin says she finally got the insight she needed in a very important meeting. She got the promotion. She had been passed over and the pattern that her family had thought was a curse ended. She did not get it back after years of work on something that was always hers. This is what we can understand, thanks to Dr. Sperry's research. There are 98% of kids who test at the level of creative genius before age 10. Both halves of the brain naturally work together. This creates the kind of seeing, making, and receiving that the strongest chosen ones say is their calling. After that, the number goes down. Less than 1 in 1,000 people still work at that level as adults. That drop wasn't meant to happen, it had to be done. There is a systematic and measurable break in the connection between the two hemispheres in modern life. A researcher said it was the biggest scam of our time. Everyone's genius faded before they could fully use it. It was not a slow natural decline, it was theft. And the chosen ones who were the strongest feel this theft the most because what was taken from them was not normal power. It was an amazing amount of power. Steve Jobs made the product that changed the way people talk to each other. Nikola Tesla, who thought of ways to solve problems before anyone wrote them down. A lot of people like Taylor Swift's songs, which she writes in just a few hours. They are all in a state of mind called flow state. All of them firing in sync with each other in both hemispheres. Those aren't just skills. That is activation of the whole brain, which has the highest scientific credibility in the world. We all have those parts of us that think something like this is too good to be true. But think about this. Not a wellness claim or a self-help phrase is at the heart of what I'm talking about. Dr. Roger Sperry won the Nobel Prize in 1981 for showing that the two sides of the brain can work together. That isn't alternative medicine in the world of science. That is the highest honor. With that as a base, a group of neuroscientists led by Dr. Daniel Barron turned an hour of clinical neural sync technology into something you can use in 8 minutes. The machine really works. The guarantee lets you know if it will work for you in particular. That's why I want to talk about the Genius Switch. Know what Dr. Barron and his team made is not a brainwave product, a meditation app, or a clinical machine that costs 7 and alone. 8 minutes of targeted sounds are meant to connect the two sides of your brain using the same neural sync technology that Dr. Sperry showed could work. That's what you do. You shut your eyes. After 8 minutes, your brain starts to do what it was meant to do before the world got in the way. There's no need to practice meditation, no more affirmations to say. There is no complicated protocol to handle. Just 8 minutes of sound can undo what the world worked for decades to fix above your head. This sequence has been used by more than 18,000 people since Dr. Barron made it public. People who know how you feel. The difference between what they thought they were made to do, what their life showed. It's on purpose that this is available at a price that makes it easy to get. Dr. Braun's coworker said they thought it would be a great deal at $5,500. Neurofeedback sessions that take place in person cost $300 an hour. A machine for your home costs $7 million. That's not how he set the price. He sold it for $49 plus an extra 10 has been taken away because you are here. It's the $39 right now on this page that comes with 4 extras. A guided visualization from one of the best Calm app creators. A grocery list that tells you the 10 foods that make you feel foggy and helps you save 100 or more every month. This is the book that most of the techniques you have read since are based on. It was written more than 100 years ago, and an infographic with 5 habits that you can print out and put on your wall. All 4 of them. Everything comes with a 100% money-back guarantee that you can't break. It takes 8 minutes, so listen 80 times. You don't have to pay anything. If it doesn't make you feel better, you can find things online that are called Genius Switch Audio or old brain activation tracks. That study was done. Most of those tracks did not have any neural sync technology built into them. They were labeled that way to get more visitors and make money from ads. Only people who go to the direct page of the research team can see the actual sequence. You can find it at the link in the description and in the comment below that has been pinned. The link in the description will take you to a page where you can see what 8 minutes a day does over 2 weeks. Snorts, there isn't any fancy gear, medicine, or hard-to-understand practice. Close your eyes, put on headphones, and think about what you've always thought. Here is who you really were after all the fights, the formation, and the fight with the fear that was stopping you from following your prophecy. Not the version that you made to prove your worth, or the version that was shaped by what people wanted from you. The version that has been through all of the tests meant to find out what can't be destroyed. These 7 signs were there for someone for 15 years before they knew what they meant. 15 years of lack of inspiration and emotional ups and downs that no one could fully explain. 15 years of events happening at the same time that seemed important, but didn't seem to lead anywhere. After that, something changed. The perception which had only some power was brought back online. After 8 months, the provision that seemed like it would never come through arrived. Through a connection that shouldn't have been possible by normal. After 4 months, the creative work that had been hidden by the restlessness came out. Math. When asked what had changed, this person said, "Not that I worked harder or finally figured it out. It said, I remembered who I was. That's the change." That's always the shift, not more details or more work to remember them. You're a warrior in the spirit world. This isn't a figure of speech. This kind of warrior doesn't fight with violence. They fight by being there in rooms where the pressure to fall is too great. They stay put. They don't change the subject by winning arguments because they won't give up on the truth even when everyone else in the room has. They change them. This is what you did. You know what it's like to stand your ground when giving up would have been so much easier. That cost wasn't a loss. It was where a spiritual warrior trained. Their presence changes the mood of every room they enter. You are a leader. The pioneer doesn't go first just because it's easy. No one else will go after them. So they do. And because the things they carry can't wait for a path to be ready, the pioneer walks the path to make it. As you move towards something that has never been done before in your family, community, or generation, you were not being careless. You were living out your pioneer calling. The universe wasn't telling you to stop when you felt resistance. It was the pushback that everyone who has made a path has felt when the path starts. What they leave behind the path is passed on to everyone who comes after them. Breaking cycles is what you do. Patterns of poverty, silence, and ceilings that you couldn't see didn't end. When life got easier, they were passed down through your family tree. They were over because you wouldn't pass them on. That refusal wasn't very exciting. People who haven't done this can't fully understand how much it cost you. But the story that comes after you is different because you were the one who stood up for what was right. The person who said this is the end of it. They took on the weight of a pattern so that those who come after them wouldn't have to. That's not a little thing. I think that is one of the most powerful things a person can do in their whole life. You are a voice, but not the loudest one. You are the most honest voice. The voice says what other people feel but can't put into words. People have been longing for something without a name. But the voice gives it a name. People who heard or read something you wrote and felt seen in a way they hadn't felt seen before were not seeing things by chance. That was the start of your assignment. A lot of people don't have to hear the voice to make a difference. You have been that person more times than you can remember. More times than anyone told you it mattered. The voice needs one person at the right time. When the voice speaks, something that didn't have a name is given one. Once something is given a name, it can be carried. And once it can be carried, it can be healed. That's what you do. You've always done that. When you grow up, you can outgrow the things that were made for the old you. You can grow out of the relationships that were made for your fear. There are ceilings above you that were put there by people who didn't know what you were capable of yet. You can grow up and become stronger than the part of the story where you were weakest. You are free to fully enter the strongest chosen one, not over time. Not until you're ready. Not until you've answered all of fear's questions right now in this body with this background. At this time of year, the prophecy comes to you even before you think you deserve it. The prophecy wants you to agree with what it has always said about you. You're not the only one who feels this way. As these words hit the page, there are other people who have had the same 7 signs and the same belief that they were made for more. They are all being told the same thing at the same time. Even though they are in different cities, time zones, and seasons of the same body, there is no one calling who is the strongest chosen one. The people who work there have different jobs that all fit together like threads in a tapestry. What you're carrying is yours alone. But it's part of a calling that's bigger than one life or season, and you're a part of it. Who is this for anyway? This is for the person who has been wondering for years why they were born with so much awareness and so much resistance to the everyday. What if someone had asked that question of purpose so many times in the dark that they stopped expecting an answer? What if that person today heard something that answered it from within what they have always known? It was always the same answer. The signal was just strong enough today to get to you. You are the stronger one who was chosen. It was always true. And today it came to you in a language your spirit could understand. Now the words start to get quiet. What was said has already been said. The things that were planted are now there. What was shared has been shared beyond this message. There is still space between who you were before this message and who you are now. There's something about that space. Wait, it won't ask you to explain it. Anything that tried to pull you away. Every moment you almost stopped, and every part of the day that made you want to go somewhere else stayed with you. People who were chosen to be strong honor. The times they were led, even if they don't fully understand why they were led there. It was one of those times also I can hear something being said over you right now. Not in the language of the mind, but in the language of the spirit, which doesn't need that staying is important. Words to say anything. It looks like this: I haven't forgotten about you. You prayed in the dark every night and never heard anything come back. You never held on when it would have been so much cheaper to let go. Not a single time did you choose faith when all the evidence pointed to giving up. All of those times are written down. Each and every one of those times was seen. In each of those times, something has been building up to what is now happening. You were never behind. You were always getting ready. The message is true. Not as a promise that is stuck in the future that you can't see, but as a fact that your life is already catching up to the most powerful chosen. One doesn't wait for the prophecy to come true before living as if it were real. From the prophecy, the strongest chosen one lives first and the world starts to move around that choice. Listen to this. Listen to it deep down where you can still hear it. You are the stronger one who was chosen, not the new one that's on the way. You won't be that person after the next season, the next big break, or the next confirmation. This copy, this body, this history, and this very moment, the prophecy isn't about who you're changing into. It's about someone you already are. As that hits the ground, let something go. Let go of the part of you that thought the fire was punishment. Let go of the part of you that compared your calling to deadlines that were never yours. Let go of the part of you that called your endurance weakness. The job is done. There is no more to the formation. The fire did what it was supposed to do. And the thing that stands where a lot of things burned is someone that the prophecy was written about before anything was built. This is the seal. You didn't just happen to see this message. What was said about you has been said. Plans that were put here are still there. And from now on, the strongest chosen one takes it forward. Not in theory or in principle, but in the full force of who they are and have always been. The dream came true and it's yours. Now go. Not because this is over, but because what was given here was for your whole life. Not just right now. People who have been chosen to be strong don't stay in the place of receiving. They move into the place where they are becoming, but you are already that, right? The prophecy is real. In the comments if this message confirms something you already knew. Leave that statement somewhere outside of you. This is something that someone who has been in the fire needs to hear. The fire was never a punishment. It was always getting ready. It may have felt like someone was reading your mind when they wrote about those 7 signs. If you are still hoping to restore your whole mind to genius level, information about the genius switch is in the description and the pinned comment. It was built by Dr. Baron for the chosen ones who remember they were more. 8 minutes have passed and it's ready for you. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the Word daily and stand in the gap for one another. When Jesus says, "Give and heaven will open over you," on this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and this is not poetry. Hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall. Share your heart. And as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit our community now. Join the family and see your heavens open. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment. A place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.